A small town, only 100,000 people. Those 100,000 people may be different in many ways, but there's one thing that brings them all together: the Green Bay Packers. In Titletown, the blue-collar city only knows hard work, tailgating, championships, but more importantly, they know family.
We have a saying in this town: faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers are all that you need. Sanjay and I grew up in Green Bay. You could say that we are Green Bay, or even better, the voices of Green Bay. We bring a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience.
Friendship, family, and football.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Freezer Podcast.
What is up? We are back. This is the Freezer Podcast, where we bring you a local field Packer fandom to a worldwide audience. And man, I should have held that little "we are back" because we are definitely back from a long little hiatus from the free agency period. Obviously, we hit you guys real hard with the Xavier McKinney news and Josh Jacobs. Obviously, the somber news of Aaron Jones and others like Bach and I think Campbell was it. So obviously, things have calmed down and things have gotten a little bit more silent. I think Goot was just like, all right, blew the load. Let's scale it back.
I like it.
Let's maybe just see what happens. I still a couple of really big name safeties that I'm kind of like, hey, if things don't settle in the draft next week, maybe they reach out to a Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs, whoever it might be, that's still available. But I still kind of hold hope that maybe one of those guys could get, on a cheap deal. I mean, if they're not going to get picked up after the draft, they for sure will be one of those training camp injury kind of guys. Like, one guy goes down. Well, hey, sign me for X number. So, but yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a. Before we get kind of into it, we have kind of like some small-ish, big-ish news, but we might as well just kind of throw it out there now so that you guys are kind of prepared for it, especially for, we're going to be doing a draft show next week. We've always done this. We do a pre-draft and we do a post-draft. Obviously, the post one is kind of a cool one because you're like, oh, did we get one right? Did we not get one right? That came out of nowhere. Did we trade out? Maybe we got a second first-round pick like we did with the year with Marcus Davenport, which, by the way, I saw that he's on the second team and he's like not even that great. What a move by Goot. I hope Pat McAfee knew about that move. So
he didn't.
So anyway,
hey, you know what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What would be? Sorry, I just want to jump in real quick. Hi, everybody. How you doing? So I was just wondering if the big news would be that maybe because now we're going on year 5, maybe I could be a part of the intro. You know what? As it was playing,
you're the show, so you run this.
As it was playing, I was like, we got to get in touch with Mirrorless. Both of you guys know.
Yes. Okay. This
it
ties into the news because yes, that is the first order of business. As CEO of just kidding. It really is. I mean, come on. Who's coming into your room in our condo and saying, "Hey, Matt, do you want to do a closet podcast?" Oh, sure. Yeah, why not? As he's sitting there playing Daisy.
Daisy.
So, anyway, so I do think yes, that is a first order of business. Second order of business would probably be I don't know, get Big and Strauss over here to get on a show pretty quick. So he'll be in the background, obviously, and he has some pretty big news himself too. He got married, he got a new job, he's all up in this adult life, I think. So next thing you know, he's gonna be like, I have a kid on the way.
That's next. That's
usually how it rolls, right? But anyway, so with it's kind of a bittersweet moment because obviously we've been together for 5 years, right? Now this is year 5. Matt and I did it for 2 years with just the two of us. So 7 years doing this kind of podcast thing. And Fred has been doing podcasts for a long time. He had this sleep. He's really old. So he's been kind of doing it back when he had black hair instead of gray. So
damn.
It looks good. We're all there now. Matt, not so much. Matt really ages well.
Fountain youth over here, boys. I'm gonna fall off a cliff at some point. It's coming. So I'm just holding on for dear life.
So yeah, I think it was 5 years ago. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's weird that's 5 years, but we joined on Game On Wisconsin. Really, one of our longtime friends. Matt really introduced me to Joe Arrigo, who was kind of a huge entity in the I guess analyst world and reporting world. He's over outside in Las Vegas. Actually got to meet up with him when I was in Vegas last year, and so really awesome to meet him finally in person. But he was just like, him and Jacob Westendorf were like, hey guys, what do you guys think coming to Game On? And we thought of it as kind of like our next like stepping stone, right? Like just three guys that talk football, whatever. And maybe this could be a nice way to kind of gain some more of you viewers that are really tied to Game On Wisconsin. So, however, we will be actually leaving Game On Wisconsin after these 3 episodes. These will be our 3 last episodes with the network. We got a lot of crazy schedules with kids and high schoolers and little elementary kids that are trying to play hockey and knock kids' teeth out. A girl that's basically she's big dance and basketball, right?
Just mostly dance. Yeah, dance.
Dance now. Okay, so it's very demanding. So it's kind of tough with schedules.
And you're up next. Like that's happening for you sooner than you think.
I mean, yeah, I don't have it as rough with the schedules and going to different practices like you guys. I just got to make sure I get bedtime in before 7:00, right? So, but yes, it was kind of a decision we kind of all 3 made. We've loved our time here on Game On. They've done nothing but accommodate to our schedules, accommodate to our goofiness, our stupidity that we have on our shows here, letting our things slide with some of our F-bombs and things. So we have always enjoyed our time here on Game On, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Like it's it's what did Bach say? It was don't be sad that it's
I don't know. I don't think anyone cares, but nobody cares what Bach says.
Hey, what? Okay, really?
X-Packer.
X-Packer, you're right. That's true. Screw him.
He's old news.
So yeah, we will be kind of doing our own thing. This is kind of our way to really boost up the Sweep Studios. That's kind of what our, I'll let Fred kind of talk about this one because Sweep has always been his baby, so I'll let him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think first and foremost, I would say that, we're not done, right? This isn't the finale.
No, yeah, we're not done. We're still doing shows.
If you just jumped in late, you probably sounded a little somber, like that's the route we were going, but that's not the case. We're still very much going to be doing the show. We're still very much going to be doing what we 100%. Normally do. I would guess if I was a guessing betting man, I would say you guys could put it down in your calendar for Monday nights going forward in life. I would assume that's probably what we're going to be doing.
It's
pretty much locked in. But, us 3 boys will get together at some point here, have a couple beers, talk some football, and figure out kind of what we want to do and kind of how we want to take that next step. We've had, it's 5 years, boys. Like, that's insane to think about. Like, I could think about the first time I went to your apartment. So we're here. We're not going anywhere. I don't expect us to go anywhere. I fully expect us to be old, bitter men doing this podcast until we can't do it anymore. So it's not over. It's just we want to, shout out to Game On, to Jacob, Jimmy,
Dan,
and Dan and
Todd, wherever he is, wherever the nomad is.
Whatever random trail Todd's on, living his best life. And everyone else, like there's Maggie, there's all these people that are involved in Game On Wisconsin that we've gotten the opportunity to spend time with and talk to, that we would be remiss without thanking for the opportunity and to be here. We're not leaving on any weird terms. It's just kind of one of those things where all your kids kind of grow up and we jump out of the house. We let her, we're peacocks. We got to fly, baby. So, so that's really, that's why. They don't. It's from a movie.
I know as well as penguins do.
Yeah, penguins. But no. So that's kind of the case. I don't think let's not spend too much more time on it because it sound like we're dying. But speaking of dying, I do want to say one thing that we didn't talk about beforehand. That I don't care what anyone says because I'm gonna throw this out there because he shares a birthday with me and he's one of my absolute favorite football players of all time. I do want to say rest in peace to O.J. Simpson. Allegedly maybe had some other issues that happened, but we're not going to talk about those.
Share the guy.
Yeah, share a birthday with him, which was really cool until like 1994, and then it got really awkward. It did, yeah.
He hid the OJ jersey for about 20 years.
So really funny story about it is my dad and I collected cards early on in my life, like when he was hanging out with us still, and he had went one time and bought an OJ Simpson rookie card. This was like 93, 94-ish maybe. And it was like a $400 card at the time, which was a lot of money in 1994. Like that was a big card to go buy. And then he was, allegedly involved in some things, and the card literally dropped from $400 to $4.
Oh no.
And it was so brutal. But I never got rid of it. I still have it to this day. Actually went to a card show on Sunday and was like, hey, anyone interested in a OJ Simpson rookie card? But listen, I've always really, really liked him. I've always been a huge fan of him as a running back, right? Absolute
No one's
monster of a running back. Yeah, USC, Bills. I mean, he played with those insanely awesome. One of my absolute favorite throwback uniforms is the Bills of the 70s with just the red buffalo on it. It's such a cool helmet. But just such an incredible player. He spent a lot of time with my grandpa at the 1,000-Yard Club in Neenah back in the day. There's a lot of pictures of him. Actually, in the last like 2-3 years, when he was on Twitter, which was hilarious, he shouted out my grandpa and Neenah and Menasha a bunch of times, talking about the 1,000-Yard Club and how they would come to little old Menasha, Wisconsin. Which I thought was such a cool, like, just tribute and thing that I, was whatever. He was also on Naked Gun 33 1/3, which was one of my absolute favorite movies. I remember I saw it in the movie theater, and I think it was released like right after this all happened, where he was, the murder thing happened. And in the movie, he like comes out with a knife, and I remember the whole theater like freaked out. They were like, this is not good. This is not good. So that was always super awkward, but I'm not going to go too far on it. I love him. I thought he was such a great football player. Whether or not he did what he did, who knows? I think we do all know.
We all do know.
But regardless of that, I still a really great football player. So I'm going to give him some props for that. But as a person, probably could have done maybe some better decisions in his life. But who am I to tell him? I didn't make good decisions either. I mean, I didn't kill my wife, but I made not the best decisions. So.
Yeah, I didn't have that one.
Did we go
have that on my bingo
card
card tonight.
I mean, again, it's the player that we reminisce about, not the human.
It is 100%, and he shared my birthday. So
again, what a wild little fun fact. Okay,
that's
so
what I'm here for.
We are obviously here on a special week because there was some special news that obviously broke last week. And obviously, as you've already heard, Brazil, the green and yellow country, the what used to be the world's best soccer team, but now it's not much anymore. But we are going to Rio de Janeiro, and we are going to play a game of football against the Philadelphia Eagles on a Friday evening, the first week of the season, opening week. So we get Thursday night football, we get Friday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. That's a whole heck of a lot of nights of till 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever it is. But what is that face for?
I don't like it.
Oh my God! Okay, see, but here's the thing. Okay, before we break it down, I want to get your take real quick, Matt. I'll throw it to Matt first. The impact of the international game, right? We'll talk about what it means for the season and like how we travel and how we prepare for travel games. We know the history, but Matt, the impact obviously of the international game, of it being the first week, and the fact that they just want to get us, this 100,000 population city franchise, out into the world, right?
Well, apparently the Packers are like a big deal down in Brazil. I didn't know this. And there's a lot of fans down there. So I wouldn't have guessed that, but apparently that's part of the reason why we were selected for it. I guess I'm sure Fred is going to probably echo what I'm saying, or at least be in the same light. But like, I don't love the fact that they're doing this. And frankly, I just can't stand the fact that they play games overseas in general. Like, I just think they shouldn't be doing it. But the good news is they're doing it week one, so it's not like you have a game the week prior.
There's no
you're coming off of that. Yeah, you can kind of just you can kind of just coast it in. I'm sure they'll treat And the other thing is you have the 2 weeks off between the last preseason game and the first regular season game, so it's no longer just like preseason ends Saturday and then boom right into a game.
Right,
like, you got a little bit of extra time, so I think that aids the Packers. And it doesn't make it as intense.
And it's not a home game.
No, it's not a home game. But I do know it's a really long flight. And I think they have to probably travel to Milwaukee or Chicago to fly out because little ass Green Bay can't have that big of a jet land here to take them all the way to Brazil. So we gotta relay them a little bit down south.
Connect to Chicago.
Yeah. So, I think in that sense, it works out well then. So we don't have to worry about them like having a huge disadvantage. And you have a little bit, you're going to get back probably sometime Saturday, have a little bit of a recoup time, and they shouldn't really miss a beat going into their normal schedule, for week 2. Yeah. But regardless, if I had to choose whether they play this kind of game or not, I would probably vote no every time.
Yeah, I'm same way, man. I just don't get excited about it, right? There's nothing really into it for me. Now, here's the thing. It's cool. The idea is cool, and I guess it's like, oh yay, but it doesn't need to happen. We don't need Brazil. We don't need Germany. We don't
revenue for us.
It's good revenue for us all the time. The Packers don't have a revenue problem.
No, I mean,
or get
the NFL does not have a revenue problem.
No,
there's no revenue problems here.
We don't put the same money. We don't pull the same money as Dallas. Okay, let's just we don't pull the same money as New York.
I would be okay, but I would be surprised on that because we aren't that far off considering what we are per capita versus a New York versus an LA versus a Dallas.
Strauss, look it up. Look it up.
He's got it. Also, Strauss, shout out because he said Sao Paulo, not Rio, which is what you said. You said Rio.
Oh yeah, sorry, Sao Paulo.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is I don't.
I suck.
It is what it is. I'm very, very, very happy that it's the first game of the season. Right?
Yeah.
If this would have been like week 7, I would have lost it. I'd have been like, not a good idea. Why are we doing this? Because I do think it's unfair. Not for me, not for the team, not for all the teams that have to do these weird inter-season travels where they're going to like Deutschland or they're going to England or they're going to wherever. It's just not okay, open the season with these games for sure. You can open the season with 4 international games, knock them out when everyone's fresh and excited and ready. But when you're trying to do it week 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, this doesn't make any sense to me. The one saving grace really quick is that we are a super, super young team. So there is no thought process of like, oh, we're old, it's going to bother us. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's going to matter. I just feel like it's like, what do we do? Like, why? What are we getting out of it?
Real quick, I just think in general, like if you play these games mid-season, it should be required then you have a bye the next week. You don't have to go play another game, but they don't do that. They just
but at least
go back, fly back, go play again.
You could, my first 2 questions: do we go early to get adjusted to the flight and or do we go a Thursday night? What I don't know what the travel plans are, but
Ukraine, man, the battlefield, literally.
No, they should take the Bears to Brazil. I'm sure Caleb Williams would never come back. He'd be dancing with cha-chas.
Okay, that's first question. Second question is, you get it out of the way now. Like you've serviced your international needs for the NFL 2 years in a row now. So now you've banked that.
Yeah, we better be done for
20 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you might as well just get these out of the way. Like we're your little guinea pig. Now go, use the Jaguars like you usually do.
Poor Jags.
Sucks to suck. I don't know.
Here's the thing, man. I don't know. I'm not surprised at all that Brazil has a crazy Packer fandom because I have not seen anywhere in the world that doesn't have crazy Packer fandom. It's everywhere. It's Brazil, it's Germany, it's England, it's Italy. It's crazy. So I don't think that. I mean, I'm sure for the NFL, this is great, right? This is the kind of team they want. They want the Packers, they want the Cowboys, they want these massive, massive teams that are just legendary across the board. They don't probably want the Jags and the Colts.
I don't know why they wanted the Browns. Why did you want that?
Well, that would have been ugly. First of all,
you wanted Deshaun Watson, the sexual abuser, to go down
there?
The
real question is, are the streets of Sao Paulo ready for Wisconsinites or Philadelphia people? Are you kidding me?
No.
Are you kidding me? They're gonna get fights and gunfights.
Brazil is Brazil, Sao Paulo, and Rio are very dangerous places. On the streets, they're very, very I've heard a lot of that stuff. So So yes, I agree. I don't think it's them having to be worried. I think it's us having to be worried in the sense of Wisconsin people are so stinking nice, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
Don't
oh,
you
sure,
know?
what do you need? Oh, crepes, you need
You
a
want me
couple
to go down
bucks
this
or what?
alley?
Yeah, like, oh, let me go to the ATM. I'll buy a couple beers. You know, we'll get some whatever.
Well, then
Like,
you'll
I
have
can do that.
have
And then you have Philly, who are actual
birds right in their
asshats.
face.
Yeah, you guys all fucking kill you guys, and then it's
Yeah.
like it's gonna be just bad. It's gonna be
That is
polar
two of the most polar opposite
Yeah,
franchises.
dude, for real.
absolutely. Yeah, so that should be a real doozy. I'd almost go there just to see that because I feel like
that might be a better.
I bet
better-
Brazilians are just like, this is gonna be fantastic.
We need to send down a correspondent with a camera and do like a
Yeah.
reporting live.
I'm thinking like National Guard or
And
something
that.
maybe might be
Yeah.
helpful in this situation.
All right, hey, but let's. There's a little bit of a Strasbourg did us some solids here. You got some homework done. Flight and hotel from Milwaukee, roughly $1,300 just to get to there. And this is not including game ticket. So I'm sure the game ticket's probably $300, probably, or maybe more. I don't know.
Pesos.
Flight out of Green Bay is $1,250. So that's weird that would be cheaper. I would always think like when you connect, you'd have to like pay more because anytime I connect from Green Bay, I'm always paying a little bit more. But yeah,
so
I think
cool. Such a traveler.
Oh, and
yeah, big timer.
So Dallas
Usually when
ranked
I charter
number
my jet.
one at $1.1 billion per
Yeah,
game.
I know that.
Packers are
per
ranked
game?
20th. Bruh, we need the money.
That's why they share revenues. They share it all.
Yeah, because I think they get the idiots from the Brown County area to go give $200 to get.
Hey, it's blue collar money, man. $200. That's might as well be $2,000. That's a big deal.
Hard earned cash.
Philly is ranked 10th, $598 million. So these bigger cities, they just pull in more because they have more people too. Like they just have.
Wait,
more
are these
eyes.
like inside the game? Like how much money they're making?
I asked Strauss
can you dive in?
Yeah, value. What do they bring in? What do they pull in?
Well, no. The problem with the Packers is their stuff's so expensive. Everyone drinks and eats outside the stadium, and then just doesn't do shit inside the stadium.
That's just you. That's just you.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I had two Philly cheesesteaks once inside there. You saw it.
One time we've done this, and I don't even think you've ever done anything to that magnitude.
No,
ever.
that was one time.
So,
all right. So let me ask you this. Let's ask the question because you talk about Wisconsin people going down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, would you ever make that travel? Whether it's Brazil, Germany, England, would you ever genuinely travel to another country to watch a game and include obviously the cost? A hotel? Would you bring your family? Would you go by yourself? Would you bring like just us three guys? Like, how would you do it?
I would do London. I would do London.
London
that
would have been a little bit more safer. If it was India, probably not.
Hey, you
I'm not going to India unless
lead the delegation for the Indian game.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Little guy here in Appleton area.
You got people. You got relatives over there. You got plugs.
Yeah, we were at your wedding.
I saw
farmers.
They're
farmers.
Well, come on,
they're not moguls. They're not business moguls that are like.
How do you know? Maybe they are.
Let's bring in the Green Bay Packers. Like.
Whoa, there we go. See, you can already talk for us. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right.
Can you give me one? Can you give me one Go Pack Go in Indian voice?
Go Pack Go. That's not even that good. You got to get
I just
R
needed
words where you can roll your R's,
There you go. The R's. Yeah.
So maybe
I'm rolling out as a barrel, baby.
They don't have a lot of players with with R's in their names. It's kind of sad. But all right. So yes, Brazil Eagles. I do think from the game perspective, it is an NFC opponent. It's a weird one because obviously. That team unraveled. I don't know what happened. They were like 10-0, and then they just fell to the. I don't know. The biggest. And when I think one of your faces of your entire franchise comes and says like he wanted out because he was like seeing a downward spiral. Like that's so bad. Like the guy probably
and then like
another 2 years, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you have like. Sirianni, like they're talking about firing him, which like maybe he's got his own things, but like we're talking 1 year removed from a Super Bowl. Like how in the world can it go that south when you have such talented players, like young nucleus, a great team? I mean, the defensive line is arguably one of the best. Jalen Hurts, to me, it's like a sophomore slump thing. It's they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Crazy expectations coming back off. Had a couple miscues, a couple things happen. It can implode your season pretty quickly. And I think being in Philly and in that situation, right, like a Dallas and New York, whatever, it snowballs, right? Because they got the media just gets on you, and everybody thought there's Jalen Hurts should be MVP. They will repeat. They'll go back to the Super Bowl. There should be no problems. And next thing you know, they're just not performing in the second half of the season, and everything starts to get crazy then.
Yeah, in this game, like I think it ended up having more hype than like the big Chiefs, welcome back game on Thursday night. Like it's two big NFC teams, and I'm really excited because
who does Chiefs
play? They haven't announced yet. But
right, that's right. The season,
but
that's right.
Jordan Love, when people are obviously finally caught on to the fact that he's going to be good and is good right now, Jalen Hurts is kind of the guy that they sort of peg him against right now in terms of maybe where he ranks amongst the quarterbacks in the league. And it makes a lot of Eagle fans upset, suggesting Jordan Love might be better. So I'm excited for the fact that we can open the season against them, after probably a long training camp and waiting for that game, and probably some trash talk leading up to it, for him to kind of flex his muscles a little bit, in front of a massive audience, because people are going to be tuning in.
Came back and beat them when he came into that game.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that's good.
I think the NFL just really wants to see Love Hurts every time they pull up an image they just like off that. Yeah.
May I just say, I am working on just accepting this, but I am already tired of the overuse of the word love in everything. And we're just going into year 2. It's going to be a long 10 years.
Guy gets an MVP. It's going to be everywhere.
Every graphic guy would use love somehow. Oh my God. Okay.
Well,
the hard part is that everyone had 3-4 years to prepare for that, so they just were coming up with stupid.
They had
stuff,
the clip was full.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we've talked about the game a little bit now. Obviously, the leading up to the game, like you said, they're not doing. We usually don't even play our players in the first place, right? Like we usually kind of just sit week 4. It's all just scrub, like practice squad guys that are like fighting for those last couple like special team spots. But do you think maybe they give like a series or 2 extra because of knowing that their next time that they go out, because travel plans, you always have to like leave early, like a day earlier than you get one less day of practice, one less day of like meeting. I mean, I know it's like a full week after, but do you think there's any like, chemistry thing that they may want to like check out, especially plays wise? It's all weird with week 1. Like Bears week 1, it was like, okay, well, it's our Bears rival, whatever, Chicago.
Yeah, that's 4-hour trip in a car. No, I honestly would guess, I don't know for sure, but I would guess that it's probably just business as usual, right? They just probably get there, they do their thing. It's also week 1, it's I don't want to say you don't try to win that game, because that's not the case, of course, but like it's not as like, oh my gosh, this is playoff type football type stuff. I think you go into it, you play, you get them the heck out of there that night, and you get them home, and then you get back to, business as usual. I think for anything, it's not a carnival, it's not a circus, but it's a game, but it's still going to be in such a weird situation. I hope for the most part that we just go in and get out healthy. That's all I care about. I don't know how the field is going to be. Like, I know we'll talk a ton more about that as it gets closer. That's always a big concern, and I don't want to see our season fall apart. God forbid something were to happen to the QB or someone like that. But to me, it's like it's just a weird almost glorified preseason game. Like I know everyone's gonna be playing in that regard, but it's still week 1. Like it's not crazy. Oh, Matt didn't like that comment at all. He's like, out of here, this is bullshit. I'm not saying it's preseason in the sense we shouldn't play it hard. I'm just saying it's still week 1. Like the season isn't going to change on week 1. We've talked about this for years.
But
the season doesn't get like.
Did you not take the Bears seriously week 1? Okay, sorry.
Absolutely, but it's divisional. It's NFC North. There's a lot more involved in that. Like I'm just saying, listen, when I say that, and I said this the last couple of years, and you guys all got mad at me because I was like, I feel like up to week 7, it doesn't matter as much.
Here we go.
It doesn't. We're not gonna. If we win the Super Bowl, we're not gonna go back.
We clearly saw how much it mattered, though. Like you saw that stretch in October. Like that would have been the difference between the 7 seed and like a 4 seed. Like
I don't care about that.
Right? You might be right. I want to play a game in Lambeau. let me see what Jordan Love does with.
Oh, I agree. I mean, yeah, ultimately, I would.
You know,
Of course,
we
I would
saw
love to
what
see us
Rodgers
play
did.
in
He
Lambeau.
couldn't play anymore.
Bro, he might not play ever.
Where do you think he's gonna go? He just walked in on yesterday. So hey, let's shift that to obviously players reported today. It was
welcome
I'm
back.
OTAs. Hey, welcome back. OTAs, kind of off-season program. Obviously, a lot of people getting paid just to
Big
come
money
for this day. So obviously there's extra motivation, but I'd like to also think these guys just generally, or genuinely want to be like together, right? Like I think they just want to they're young, they're all kind of like close in age.
I think they all dig each other, man. I think
Right,
they're all
exactly.
It's such a cool. And you know what else? I was talking to one of my buddies at work about it today. They're all running like the dreadlock pred thing right now. Like, did you say Jordan Love's got it?
Yeah,
you got Jair, you got McKinney, you got Rashawn Gary, you got Wyatt. Like, so I'm kind of like,
I want to see Luke Musgrave with it.
Christian Watson was doing it. You know that
maybe
Reed is already doing it. Dobbs could do it. His hair's long enough. I saw the picture where he looks like he's got an
I don't know
afro
what he's
here.
doing. I don't
know how he can play with that under his helmet.
He'll get it braided
too.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I saw all that and it was all those guys, it kind of felt like
they probably had like a text group, like, "Yo, you do?"
Like a bunch of bros, and we're like, "Let's do this, let's get it."
Let's set the pick,
which sounds silly, but like, man, how long have we waited for that?
We've
waited for good locker room. We've waited for not having old stink ass be like, "Nah, I don't like."
I feel like that's really like you're really singling out one individual.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers is his name.
But we've always been told that he's not a bad locker room guy though. Like his stupid antics behind a TV screen or behind a camera and what he says on the microphone, but he's always been revered as this awesome guy.
Sure, he's an awesome guy, and sure, I don't think that he was sitting in the locker room.
But he can't relate. He can't relate. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think he was the kind of guy that would come in, sit in his locker, talk to a couple guys. I mean, he would talk to the young guys. I don't think there's he wasn't talking to them.
He's only talking to the usual guys.
You can tell when you go up to a person, you start talking to them, and they're just responding to respond, and they're ready to move on from the conversation. Yeah. Whereas I'm genuinely engaged and excited in your conversation. I think that Aaron Rodgers probably gave off the vibe, and not maybe to be rude, but just because that's how he felt, and he didn't connect with that. And that's where I think there was such a disconnect. And I don't think he was a jerk. I just think that people didn't have anything in common with him. And that's not his fault. It just is because he was, a whitey tighty kind of guy.
Yep.
Matt, your take on also, you were a interception away from beating the 49ers. You were a game from taking on the stupid Lions that you just dismantled in Detroit. Now I get it. Playoffs, that atmosphere would have been nuts. Whatever. We don't know what would happen. I think we win that game. But do you think it's also part these guys are hungry?
Absolutely. I think that they have that they know they're young. They know that the chips are kind of stacked against them. And I think they understand that that's their strength. Although some people may think it's not their strength or their weakness. And I think that they're out to prove themselves, and they're out to prove that they're onto something. I think that you're in a post Aaron Rodgers world in Green Bay, and a lot of the national media, at least early on, for sure in the first half of the season, were kind of disrespectful to kind of what the Packers were doing. And I know that even to some degree in this show, we were kind of, maybe getting a little bit too panicky at some points, but nonetheless, I think that's why they're so hungry. And I think that's why that they're looking to get this thing sparked right away. And I don't know if anybody watched kind of some of the videos the Packers posted, but they look juiced up and ready to go. And it's April. Usually kind of coming back. I don't know if I'm ready to be back here in April.
First day of school, you're back at school, you get to see your friends, you get to wear all your gear and stuff. I get it. I mean, it's just natural, right? But I do think you gotta, I hope whatever they've learned from last year, being very young and not knowing any better, now people know better, right? This is now a team that people are putting as their dark horse, Super Bowl, appearance.
But are they though?
Well, and
I've seen a lot of people
think they really
like
are
our team. I've seen a lot of people actually I mean, what do they have to go against? The NFC is absolutely weak.
I know. I'm not arguing with you. I was curious because I've kind of backed off from
dark horse. I'm not saying favorite.
Yeah,
like I do think
sure.
people see him as a playoff team clearly, and I do think people are like, look, Cowboys haven't done anything in the offseason. 49ers are losing guys and might have to trade a couple. You look at maybe like the Saints that are like meh, that division's meh, and maybe Baker Mayfield repeats whatever he's doing. It's really the Lions, us. You could argue maybe the Rams. I think Rams are obviously in the question. Obviously, whatever Matt Stafford you get. So it's a kind of up for grabs in comparison to the AFC. Like all these guys back, like all the quarterbacks that were hurt, now they're back. Go ahead.
Oh, I think you have to make Green Bay one of the at least handful of favorites in the NFC.
Get to the division round.
I don't even think Dark Horse applies them. I think that Dark Horse was last year. I think the expectations are on this year. But to your point earlier, Sanjay, remember at the end of the season, LaFleur's big message to the team was, hey, you guys crept up on everybody and did some incredible things this year, but cat's out of the bag now. No, you're not creeping up on anybody next year.
No
what are you going to do about it this offseason? You got to get better. So I hope they listen to him and that's what they do.
Do you realize that you two knuckleheads had us winning 12 games last year, and then you guys fell off that bandwagon, and then you wanted to fire everybody, trade everybody at week 8?
You guys, all of us.
Yeah, but I was realistic. I had us at 10-7. I think I got the prediction right. Strauss, go look it up. I mean, I think I was.
You probably had us winning 4
Swami
games
here. Woo! What?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just saying.
You didn't have none of that. You weren't there, dude. You weren't.
I can't wait till this year when we all predict crazy predictions.
I'm 17-0, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, run the table.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see the guys back. It's fun to see maybe we can touch on this for a couple seconds, but Jordan Love is everywhere. He's on everybody's podcast. He's everybody's little show that he needs to and now granted, all the stuff that he's talking about is pretty close to the same on everybody's show. Oh, you guys were this, young team. Oh, you were a first-year starter. Now you're the guy. Aaron Rodgers is gone. All that stuff is the stuff we heard all year long. But he doesn't and maybe because he hasn't got that big contract yet. Well, probably going to see it in the next 3 weeks or so. But he doesn't come off as this I'm going to get this paid money and I'm going to now be this, arrogant prick or this showboating because that's the one thing about him. The only showboating I ever saw from him, it was when he took that, I think it was Jernigan or whatever that guy is from the Falcons. Remember that D tackle?
Yeah, he kind of
ran into him and then he was just got up in his face. That's the first thing I ever saw of him, and that was probably the last time I saw him really get kind of cocky in front of someone, outside of maybe a really long first down run that he had. But that to me is just I'm kind of excited to know that he's very even keel. I mean, every podcast I've seen, it just seems like he's so down to earth, and it's almost like he's learned so much for what not to do, as 12 was on his exit. And it's kind of nice when these quarterbacks can sit for 3 years and they can really see what it really means to be a superstar athlete in a little town, right?
Yeah, I would say this to that, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate to it just because I feel like it's no. Here's the thing: settle down. Dude. This is
usually my role. This is my role.
Yeah, I say this is you.
So I'm not. I wouldn't say that I disagree with any of that. All I would say is
you can.
No. I would. The only thing I would say to that is I would probably bet a decent amount of money that we were all saying the same thing about Aaron Rodgers after year 1. He was quiet. He was conservative.
It was 10 years plus of not. It was really after he went on to GMFB, I think it was the year that the Vikings hosted that Super Bowl. He went on for the first time on a nationally broadcasted show. That's when he changed. He started going on shows.
But early on, Fred's right.
Buttoned up.
But early on, we all thought, he was a recluse. We didn't know anything about it.
You're right.
We thought he was all business. He was very well spoken. He was very whatever. And I'm not saying that this is Jordan Love's going to take that same route by any means. All I'm saying is we have to temper that expectation just a little bit because We don't really know, right? We don't know a whole lot. No one's really dove into Jordan Love's life, right? His family life, all that crap that happens. None of us knew anything about Rodgers for years. And then all of a sudden it was like, he hates his family, can't have a girlfriend, he's probably gay, blah, blah, blah. And then it just, everything starts unraveling. And then not only that too, but like money does change people. And I want to hope that it's not the case. And I don't really believe necessarily that it would be the case, but Jordan Love is about to get a very, very hefty bag of money dropped at his feet. And that can change people. That can not change people like in the sense of they are going to hurt people or go OJ Simpson or whatever, but they can play a little bit different. They maybe they're yeah, it's the OJ Simpson show, ladies and gentlemen.
You should have titled
if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Quit.
Oh my God.
Rest in peace, Cochran.
Yeah, Jesus. I'm sorry, mom and dad and everybody involved. But the money that comes in, like, does the work ethic change? Does the dynamic of the locker room change? Because now he's not paid as much as the other guys. He's all of a sudden paid well above all the other guys. Now all the receivers are making literally fraction of what he's making. Does that just change things? Now, it doesn't change Jordan Love, but does it change the perception of everybody else? I would like to think no. I would like to think that all the players have their mind already made up about him and the money's not going to change. That being said, though, I think it's too quick to start acting like, no, he's going to be so different. He's going to, because I thought Aaron Rodgers was like this class act for so long. And then we found out, and he was, and then it changed. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was drugs or Danica Patrick or who the hell knows, but everything just got weird. And it was like, what the heck just happened? He seemed like such a normal surfer, laid back dude, right? And very similar to Jordan Love. Jordan Love seems very laid back, doesn't seem to let guys get in his face and bother him, plays very calm. Does that change? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe we just have a wonderful run again and it's great, but I'm just saying maybe tempered a little bit.
Call me crazy, but I feel like
you're crazy.
I know that. Maybe don't call me. Don't affirm that I'm crazy. It could be that, quarterback is one of the only, and maybe not the only, but one of the only positions that money doesn't necessarily bring like the extra like gratification or fame. Like it's the one position that you want to climb the mountain. It's the one position that you want to be like on the top of it. You want to be like, everybody ranks QBs. They base your predictions off QBs. They base your success off how your QB does. Like, and when you're the Packers and you have such a great lineage of quarterbacks, I feel like when you're the one here, like you just have like that extra want to live up to that or to play well. And I don't know if it's like, a DB getting paid a bunch of money and then just kind of, coasting a little bit and pulling off the gas. Whereas as QB, you can't, like, you got to go and they'll replace you really quick if you just kind of fall off that fast. So just to kind of answer Fred's devil's advocate there about the money, I really hope that it wouldn't impact him that way. And he seems like the kind of guy where no matter how much he's getting paid, he's going to be the same guy.
Yeah. And I would argue my own argument with the fact that with what Gutekunst said a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, I don't remember when it was, where people were talking about, whether or not they were concerned about paying him. And he was said something along the lines of like, I don't have to worry because the guy's been in the locker room for 4 years. I know who he is. I'm not concerned about it, which I do feel like was a partial shot to Rodgers, but that's a different story. But I agree. I mean, I can't imagine. Gutekunst is so smart and calculated about what he does. And I think we've all seen how great of a GM he can be. As well as, just the financial side of it when it comes to, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Who's our
Russ Ball?
Russ Ball. Thank you. That I feel like they wouldn't do what they wouldn't back the Brinks truck up for him. Have they think that maybe he's not there, he's not ready, he's not going to handle it well. They would maybe give him like a gap contract or something, like a 3-4 year deal, as opposed to what they'll probably give him is like a 6-7 year deal with like 3 years voidable type crap. But like,
do they do that anymore? Do they still give out?
I don't know.
Deals?
Do you guys have any like reservations or concerns? Like, we've seen a lot of QBs have a really solid year, get paid, and then regress. Like, does that ever come across your examples? Well, like for instance, Daniel Jones. I know he was injured, but he had a huge year, and they had to pay him a bunch. Jalen Hurts, they paid him. He had a bad second year. He wasn't very good.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
There's got to be someone more. Like, are you saying?
I'll give it. No,
I'm not
this is where I
saying
think
he's Daniel Jones.
This is where I think. Sorry, this is where I think you're going with this, and I think you're right. Is we're gonna pay a guy with a very short resume, a very
salary
short
cap
resume.
crippling money, yes.
Like big time money, like which takes us from like that great thought process of like, we don't have to pay a quarterback, we can pay other guys, we can do this stuff, which we haven't done a lot. I mean, we did the McKinney and the Josh Jacobs, which is fantastic. But yeah, like I am worried about it because I truthfully feel like he kind of had a good start, then he went down. Team did, not just him generally, but the team had a kind of a roller coaster beginning of the season. Then we looked great at the end of the season. I'll give him that. He looked unbelievable at the end of the season.
Yeah,
but there's always they paid Aaron Rodgers in 2011. What are you saying?
But they gave him a shorter one too, didn't they? Kind of gave him a gap contract.
He got repaid in 2014 when he won MVP already.
I guess what I
how many games did he start before that signing?
A full season.
Well, he had just a full season.
Well, he had the Cardinal loss, the Cardinal loss, and then they paid him the next year. I thought because we didn't.
Okay. Regardless, here's the thing. But Fred, you're exactly right. I think that's my apprehension. It's like, okay, he was fantastic down the stretch, and everybody took notice, and everything he's got coming to him is going to be deserved. But me, it's like I got to see it a second time to go. All right, I feel really comfortable just loading the money. He's going to get it no matter what I feel or how I feel about it.
But
he's going to get his money.
But know what they were doing.
But hopefully the Packers don't do like a 7 or this really long deal where it's money all over the place without seeing it a second time.
If the team we saw in that Dallas game played like they did in that stretch of October, I don't think we lose more than one game.
But we didn't.
That's the problem.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like now you go into this year,
but I'm not going to pay a quarterback. I'm not going to pay a quarterback $400 million because if we would have played good,
$400 million.
Well, I know, but that was an exaggeration.
No, I know.
What I'm saying is like
I don't think they're going to give him top of market deal.
No, I agree, but I would say, and I don't know if this is a possibility, and I don't know if this even sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but I mean, could you go to him maybe and be like, "Hey, we'll pay you a 4-year deal for $200 million with 140 guaranteed," or this is preseason going into the season, or you give us the first 6 games of the year. If you play at this level, we give you $280 million and we guarantee you $200 million. Like, is there any way that they could say like without it being like disrespectful?
I'm sure they're having those
I'm just playing. Right.
Okay, give me 4 guys right here. Are you paying him more than Mahomes?
Nope.
No. You paying him more than Lamar?
Nope.
You paying him more than Herbert?
Maybe Herbert has
no. But these guys have all been playing for multiple years.
They just got paid. I'm just trying to say, like the guys have just got paid.
Well, right.
Use their,
but Mahomes has like 5 Super Bowls. Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs.
Exactly.
Justin Herbert has a couple years of play.
Where is your where do you because you're obviously paying him more than Daniel Jones, right? You're going to give him a little bit more than not a little bit. You're going to give him more than Daniel Jones because he's actually accomplished something. But then, are you giving him more than Justin Herbert? Because those are the two. Is he in the middle of that?
I'm giving him 4 years, $200 million with like 100+ guaranteed.
Yeah, he's going to get.
Is he getting paid more than Dak? Because Dak got a big contract.
I don't see all the numbers. I don't know.
But I think generally we're in agreement. He's going to get about 50 a year. It's going to probably be 4 years. And I think for the record, I don't have a problem with him signing Jordan Love to a deal. Like it's not what I'm trying to argue.
And I don't think
is there any kind of like
what is the.
And I don't think that signing a 4-year, $200 million with 160 guaranteed, whatever you want to call it, I don't think that's weird. I don't think it's unfair.
No, not at all.
I think the league is continuing to grow. Salary caps are going to keep growing. Everything is growing.
Yeah,
that's going to be the bare minimum. It's going to be based pretty soon. Yeah, we're going to Brazil. So they should be able to chip in a couple 20, 30, 40 million. But no, I'm not saying that. I don't think that we're unfairly putting a price on him. I think what he's going to get paid will be worth it. Oh, yeah. I just feel like as a fan,
you just said you're nervous, as a GM, though. You're not.
I am nervous,
but you don't believe in the money they're about to give him.
Well, I'm not, but I'm me. I'm not saying. I'm saying for the team, I feel like I would guarantee you that there's. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I would guarantee that there's probably some hesitation in the front office of holy cow, we might pay this guy a ton of money. But
of course there is.
I would also say that what I think they're going to pay him, the 4 for 200, is not that crazy.
That guy showed me enough. The 49ers game, throwing across his body, like, it sucked to see that because he was having an unconscious game. He really was. That whole game was outrageous. Like, I thought, I mean, not as good as the Cowboy game, but like against a good defense like that, he played really well. I've seen enough. I've seen enough to know that there is not. You went toe to toe with the best defense. What did that team get better? No, not in my opinion. Now the draft hasn't happened yet. Trades have not. People could make trades, whatever. But in the NFC as it stands, I am not scared of any other team. Not even close. 49ers.
Can you remember this every single week next week when we're picking who's going to win and
you're not picking them
game? Yeah, because here you are. You're like you're on the front horse with the sword leading us into the promised land.
What does it say below my name?
Pay him everything. It's the greatest guy. And now all of a sudden the season starts and the season starts.
Week 1, he's going to pick the Eagles. I got the Packers losing to the Eagles. I don't like that travel schedule.
I don't think it's going to be a good game. You fucking see it. Like,
why do you know me so well?
I don't know. I just do.
You don't travel
5 years, bud.
Of course I'm picking
5 years. 5 years. 5 years of bullshit. That's where I keep going. Like, who are you right now?
Who are you before? You're
Matt and I we've literally flipped.
We're the realistic ones right now.
Me and Matt are like, I don't know.
Is Matt. So.
Yeah. Sanjay's like, he's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Pay him $50 billion. And me and Matt are like, well, hold on a second.
Next thing you know, I'm going to be banging for a wide receiver next week. First round. All right.
Don't tempt me.
We got to leave.
Gabbert, don't leave this show because of what stupid Sanjay says on stuff. Come on now.
He's going to pick the Eagles. Just know that going into it. You know it.
I'm gonna literally. I don't know. I'm gonna like get all these clips of you and we're just gonna keep playing them.
You have 5 months to prepare for him picking against the Eagles. It will happen.
He's already changed his mind. He's already doing Fly Eagles Fly. Like that's how quick he is. You're disgusting.
It's the redemption season for Nick Sirianni.
Oh God, yeah. Well,
All
right, we got a few minutes here. Obviously, people want to throw stuff in the chat.
Hey, let's talk about really quick. I know we mentioned it earlier on in the show, but we've got a shoot ton of people in here. I like how I swore 3 minutes ago, but then I said shoot instead of shit.
You gotta watch it now, dude. You met your quota.
I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry to my wife. I'm sure she'll yell at me about it later. But let's talk about the fact that we are doing a pre and post draft show. That's very important. I know a lot of people really get into the draft. I know it's a big deal for me. Although I will say over the years, I've kind of pulled back from it a little bit.
Why?
However, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm old or fat or what, but like it's definitely a couple of things. However, it could be both. That being said, the week of it changes. All of a sudden, I get in lock-in mode, and I go
next week, baby. Watch Draft Day. It's the worst football movie of all time. But you know what? I watched it twice.
It's such a terrible movie. I don't get
it. Makes me not want to watch the draft.
Yeah, it makes me literally hate the draft.
It makes me more jacked.
Yeah. But that being said, so we will have a show, I believe, next Tuesday. Yep. Before the draft. So make sure you guys tune into that, and then me and Sanjay and potentially Matt as well. We'll do a post-draft show.
No, not Matt.
Okay, so whatever. Pre-draft show, a post-draft show. So Tuesday and Tuesday.
Plans vacations.
And we might have a fantastic guest to join us as well for one of those shows. So we're not gonna say who, but a really, really, really predominant person in the old Packers sphere. It's not Drunk Nagler, so don't worry about that. Although we
tried that once, didn't work so well.
Yeah, he's a piece of crap. So we're not gonna do that, but we do have somebody else who's really great, and we're gonna talk about the draft, and we're gonna kind of break down who we all think we could look at, who we should get, positions of need, and kind of dive into that, whether it be free agency and the draft. So just wanted to shout that out here before we come up to our minute.
Yeah, good stuff there, Fred. I do think real quick, I Actually, I really don't.
You can't think straight because all you can think is drunk Nagler now. Okay.
No, I'm thinking about all these
that show.
people that are like, if Sanjay picks the Eagles, he'll probably want Matt LaFleur fired. Like, what is this? I don't say
well,
anything.
You've done this
your brand,
yourself,
dude.
Cal.
That's your brand.
Firing Matt LaFleur, I want to put him in Canton. Like, I really like Matt LaFleur.
Oh my god, who are you right now?
It's off-season Sanjay. He's got to run
off-season Sanjay. Yeah.
I'm just like itching, man, for like some.
Yeah,
sort of
he's testing out many different personalities for the season.
Any closer? Like, honestly, it's all right. So I just want to ask this question, and everybody can just throw in: are the Vikings taking a quarterback?
Yeah, I think they're.
Of course they are.
Are they going to be good with this quarterback?
Until the Vikings develop a quarterback on their own, I no, they're not.
Jaron Hall.
Yeah, go down the line. They all stink. And the only good QBs they've had to buy off somebody else.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here's what I would say is
they're
Dante
100% drafted.
Yeah,
that's the last one.
All right.
The last time.
I hated that guy so much.
And the role thing.
Yeah,
man,
such a ridiculous. The 100% they're taking a quarterback because they have nobody. And the weird thing is they have such talent on that offense. Like,
why didn't they just resign
Jefferson?
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I don't quite get it. I like
Kirk Cousins.
Well, whatever. Regardless, they will sign a quarterback. I'm not sure who they go after. I will say this about the quarterbacks for the draft. I'm not going to dive into it because I know we'll talk about it next Tuesday. But I'm not in love necessarily with really any of the quarterbacks in the draft. I think there's a couple that are decent. I will say whoever ends up in Minnesota will probably have the best chance of succession. Whether that be, I don't know, whether they go after like a Michael Penix. I mean, a Bo Nix would be a huge stretch, but I mean, I look at like maybe Penn. I don't know if I like McCarthy.
I hope they try to get a. Please,
I hope they go for McCarthy.
QB. Please do it.
I hope they go after McCarthy, and I hope they go after Penix because I don't know if that works. Because I really think that, like, I don't really love Caleb Williams, but I feel like he's probably the best just by default. After that, I think that Jaden Daniels is super talented, but I don't know if I've seen enough to warrant where he's at. That being said, JJ McCarthy, I watched a ton of Michigan games. Dude barely ever threw the ball. I do think there's a little bit of like Zach Wilson-y feel with him, and I think that's a big problem. And then I also will say, personally, and because I've watched a ton of this guy, I actually think there's a lot of kind of underhype about Bo Nix. And I know people are going to rip on me about that.
He was like 30.
But I'd rather have a 30-year-old quarterback. He's
like 26, I think, or 25.
But he's played with Auburn. He played with Oregon. Okay. He played with a lot of really good defenses, a lot of good.
He's like Van Wilder.
So? Don't act like you didn't want to be Van Wilder when you grew up.
Sure, yeah, but like
best life ever,
dude. Sick drop.
All I'm saying is if you get like a Bo Nix like to Minnesota or a team that's kind of built, he could be fantastic. If you put him on a team and say you have to be the savior, you're screwed. But I think like Minnesota is a pretty solidly built team. And I think they could get better if they have a decent quarterback. I don't think putting a guy like Penix Jr. in there is going to help because he's going to resort to running and it's just going to fall apart.
Hear me out.
Jefferson's going to hate it.
Hear me out. And I can't even take credit for this because shout out to Powers Comics. Go check out their store in Green Bay. If you guys are in the area and you want to check out Powers Comics, it's right on Ridge Road.
Hold on. They're not sponsoring us yet.
But Dave mentioned to me, what if Vikings trade 2 first-round picks to LA, get Justin Herbert, Mr. Jim Harbaugh drafts his boy?
No, it's not gonna happen. No way.
Why not? Jim Harbaugh said
Justin Herbert
JJ
McCarthy
now? Has the best pro day of all time. I mean, he just keeps
gassing
him up.
It would be one of the most hilarious moments in NFL history, and he'd go right back to college. He'd be back in college in 4 years.
The Vikings are just going to do nothing with Justin Jefferson like they've done with all their other really good, wide receivers. They just have bad timing. Do you even re-sign him? Do you really want him just snagging passes from Sam Darnold for $50 million a year or some rookie? Like, I'd rather just trade him and get a pile of picks and try to
I'd sit up for the year, and I would be like, "Let me see what you get for a quarterback, and then I'll come."
Yeah, the hard part is he's without a doubt the best receiver in the game, and it's so weird because part of 100% with Justin Jefferson. What do you want? Drugs? Yes, of course he is. Who's better?
I've seen Justin Jefferson get shut down.
Who's better? That's what I thought.
Got nothing.
So,
keep going.
Yeah, you got nothing. Shut up. Legitimately the best receiver in the game.
Jamar Chase.
Don't stop. You didn't give an answer. You had a chance.
You're just shush your mouth. Just close the
Tyreek Hill is actually pretty good. If he had a quarterback,
absolutely.
Devontae Adams, if he had a quarterback.
Yeah, but Devontae, Justin Jefferson,
you're going
skill
based
level,
on
age, all that.
Yeah, see, that's just.
Oh,
right,
really? Because you never put the normal factors in. We're just not going to count age anymore.
This is proof that he will argue. He will argue anything. Anything at all. We'll argue it.
I'm just saying, best receiver in the game.
Buffoon.
You were telling me that it was Devontae Adams 3 years ago when he was with the Packers, and he was older. He was old.
Year to year.
Yes, Devontae Adams, when he was 27 years catching passes from Aaron Rodgers, was indeed
had nothing to do with age.
The best quarterback or best receiver. It has everything to do with age.
We have no more time left.
No.
Darn.
All right. 3 episodes left now. Sorry, 2 episodes left here on Game On. We really appreciate everybody that's come out tonight. The numbers are, I just don't understand this.
Season side.
What do you guys see in us?
They're so
Fred, your mic's all.
Your mic's going. Yeah. See, I think his mic is only good for an hour because then after that, it's like Cinderella.
It went on the fritz because he's trying to tell a story and he's trying to argue about why Justin Jefferson isn't the best. And they got sidetracked.
CeeDee Lamb. There we go. CeeDee Lamb. I'll take CeeDee Lamb
over JJ.
I don't know. I'm just
end this show. Just end it.
Hey, thank you everybody for coming out. We really appreciate it. Next week, stay tuned. Could possibly have a pretty awesome guest. We'll do a little pre-draft stuff like Fred mentioned before. So join us again, 7:00 Tuesday next week. Other than that, enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with family, and we'll catch you next time. With that being said, that's Fred, that's Matt, and I'm Sanjay. And
Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go.
Oh, look at that.
God.
Later, dudes.